Hello and welcome to another episode of the Proton Pack Podcast. I'm Christian, and with me always is the Ian Malcolm to my Alan Grant, Tony. Say hey, Tony.
Hey guys, how are you? We are back. Yeah, we're back. We're finally rocking out episode 38.
God, it's been a couple weeks in the making. We've just been so busy that, just to find time to do this one, it's now 11:20 my time, 12:20 your time.
I'm in the future. See, I'm doing this, what is the date now? October 17th where I'm at. It's October 16th where Kris is at. And wherever you're at, you're on one side of the coin. So,
Marty! But in any case, we wanted to make sure we got it put together, get another episode out there, and give our fans a little something that they haven't had in a couple weeks.
No, it's been good. But if you've been following our Facebook page, you've been all these articles that we're talking about today have all appeared on there, and then some. Obviously, some we don't have time to talk about today. But as long as you guys are following us on Facebook, the Proton Pack with Kris and Tony, you're going to have all the updated news, all the breaking stuff. And man, it has a lot of stuff going on. And we are totally getting ready to get into it. But before we do that, we do have this little thing called...
Is it shameless
plug? It is time! What? I don't want to get sued.
There you go. Foreshadowing.
Money's always cool.
Money is cool. All right. So first shameless plug is my... Wait, where is it? Right there. It's hard to do that on camera. Anyway, Rough Riders is my dog rescue nonprofit. We transport dogs from kill shelters to no-kill shelters here locally. Find them homes, give them a second chance at life. Events have slowed down a little bit, so we're getting back into heavy marketing and fundraising. And speaking of fundraising, we are working on trying to raise $75,000 for 2 commercial vehicles upfitted with kennels that we can pick up more dogs at any given time. And Tito's Handmade Vodka was nice enough to commit to $10,000 matching the next $10,000 that we raise. So that's a huge thing coming from them. We're so appreciative, and that's what we're working on. So if you want more information, if you want to donate, go to the website, roughriders.org, or find us on social media at Rough Riders Saves.
Yeah. Now, I was going to say, too, to chime in on your shameless plug, if you guys follow Rough Riders, you did a really cool thing a couple of weeks ago where you were on, you're featured on a radio show, and she had a news piece with you, which I thought was really cool. The ride along you did where they got the a day. If you want to shoot that, I think that if you guys would really like to see what Kris does on a day-to-day basis with this great organization, I mean, it's awesome to check out. So I'll shush and let you tell about it, because I think it's important that we plug that because it was cool.
It was cool, yeah. It's a mini documentary about 10 minutes long for a show called The Next Stage with Connie Ray. And she's a local former TV, radio personality here, and did a really nice feature on just a day in the life of what I do, driving around, picking up dogs, picking up food. It's a nice insight into the world of rescue, a little bit different than, a lot of the other dog rescues.
Yeah. So check that out. It was a really cool video to watch. Gives you a good insight.
Yeah, appreciate that.
You're welcome. Then, now I guess we move on to, my shameless plug.
Let's throw in your shameless plug.
Let's just throw in the one. So if you guys don't get enough pop culture, I do participate every Sunday from 7 to 9 Pacific time on 95.1. I had to cheat again. I don't know why I have to cheat. 95.1 KNVC Carson City Community Radio. I am a
KNVC.
I'm a part of the the Pop Culture Kaboom, Jimmy Jones Show, where he talks everything from comic books, cons, toys, video games, comic books, TV, movies, you name it, he'll cover it. And what we do are the trailers of the week, where Jimmy will pick out 3 to 5 movies, watch the trailers. We give our, I like to put our smart aleck satire take and our own synopsis on some what's generally pretty crappy movies, but we do cover some mainstream ones. So if you guys would, please check that out. And in the meantime, this is the primary gig, and we roll on to our next shameless plug.
Yeah, so speaking of cons, I'm not really going to plug TotallyRad1981.com this week, just because I haven't done much with it. It's
well, dude,
and so
like we talked before,
so busy.
Before we got on air, it was like we just, we talk normally daily if it's just via text, but conversation-wise, it's been about a week and a half, and Matt, a lot's gone on a week and a half because I'm working, Kris is doing like 7 jobs and dog rescuing, and so
staying busy.
I will give you this for Totally Rad, just to put it in.
Excellent.
Love it.
Just to smuggle that in today.
Well, excuse me. Now, one thing that we are going to be doing, Tony's going to be flying out here in a couple weeks, and we are going to the Reno Pop Culture Con. It is here at the Reno Sparks Convention Center. We have a booth for the Proton Pack Podcast. We're going to get some little goodies to hand out, and we're going to be broadcasting and recording live. So, if you are in the area and feel like stopping by and saying hi, we'd love to see you. It is 3 days, November 8th, 9th, and 10th, and there's some pretty good guests lined up.
There is a lot. You want to run a few? I'm at the Facebook page now. So if you guys are watching along this late at night, thanks so much. What are you doing? Go to bed. We'll stay up.
What are we doing?
Well, we got to put this out, man. I got a plane to catch in the morning. So if you guys see me looking down, it's at my phone for my notes. But just this last week, they announced Kenny James and Charles Martinet will be there. If you guys don't know that, Charles is the voice of Super Mario. It's me, Mario. Kenny James does the voice of Bowser, so they'll be there, which I thought was pretty cool. From the cast of Firefly, Summer Glau, Jewel State, and then real cool, Alan Tudyk will be there.
Yes.
We've mentioned before, Val Kilmer is going to be there. So many more. Is there any like big names so far that have come across? I mean, I'm stoked with Summer Glau, man. That's cool.
Yeah. Darth Maul, Ray Park's going to be there.
Ray Park.
Toad.
Is it bad that I'm pretty excited that the Iceman's going to be there?
No, there's nothing
cool.
sad about that.
And a real cool thing we want to let you guys know, we always share anytime Reno Pop Culture announces any new person that's going to be there, whether it's comic books, celebrities, voice actors. There are a lot of voice actors at this one. So like Muppet Babies will be there, which is pretty cool. I'm going to geek out if like, any of the Ninja Turtle voices pop up or anything. I haven't seen anything like that yet, but
that would be cool.
That would be. But what we're doing is the post night on that Sunday night. So that would be November 10th. If you guys can make it down there to the Pepper Mill in Reno, we're going to be doing a post live show. Kris and I will be doing the Pop Culture Kaboom. We'll be taking the Proton Pack on the road. We're going to be doing a whole show. I don't know how it's going to go. It's live Q&A. You can shoot us questions, make fun of us, whatever you want to do. But Jimmy's going to be lining up, hopefully, some of the guests. I don't know who he's got lined up, but we could be talking to Val Kilmer. Who knows? So long, shameless plug, but man, get your tickets before they sell out. This is they do these wonderful cons here in Denver where I'm at every summer. Such a hit, and I'm excited that it's the same company bringing it to my hometown in Reno for you guys to check out. So we look forward to seeing you there. Come say hi, even if it's just a crisp high five. We give those out no charge. Come see us.
Ooh, we'll have to make a sign.
Yeah, 1 crisp by 5. They're like, oh, you're that terrible dude that's always drinking that weenie drinks.
Princess Yum Yum.
Yeah, well, today it's a Mike's Yum Yum.
Uh-oh.
No, don't worry. There's no craziness coming. This is just late night.
No, my dogs are leaving the office.
I thought you were worried that we were going to go back to episode 7.
No.
It's not going to go down that way.
No, I'm just hoping they don't need to use the restroom, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Yep. All right. So that does it for the shameless plugs. We are going to kick off with actually quite a bit of TV news.
We got a lot, so let's roll that beautiful beam footage.
Bazinga. Hey, baby. Let's go, Bob. Excellent.
Hey, baby.
You know what I was thinking is we're going to cover this in one of our stories, but I don't know if we can use that intro anymore. We'll explain in just a few, but first...
I can't imagine it would be an issue. Anyway, so the first bit of TV news is we've been talking about the CW Arrowverse is bringing their crossover event for this season, which is Crisis on Infinite Earths. And we've talked about actors who have played certain roles in the past coming back to reprise those roles. So, for instance, Burt Ward is coming back as Robin from Batman 66, Tom Welling from Smallville, and Linda Carter from Wonder Woman. We even know that Brandon Routh, who was in Superman Returns, but is now in The Legends of Tomorrow as the Atom, will even be donning the cape as Superman. And then probably the best Batman voiceover person ever, Kevin Conroy, will be playing Bruce Wayne in live action. All of that goes to say that we may be seeing, and hopefully in person, but at least in, through a little news clip, Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne as hopefully Batman, but basically on the news site, they showed a news clip of what I assume takes place after Batman Returns. It's a picture of Michael Keaton and says, Wayne Tech CEO Bruce Wayne to marry socialite Selena Kyle. So I assume that things went well after she was electrocuted to death in Batman Returns.
She came back to life. She's so hot that she's not even in the picture with Bruce.
So it's shaping up to be a really neat event. Again, with the lack of time, I have fallen behind on all of those shows, so I have no idea what's going on, who the main villains are.
You're the voice of reason on this show, the golden voice. You're the one that's on top of this.
Well, and just not enough time.
No, there's not. But I'm very intrigued. I think I would probably just jump in and watch it. I don't know if I would know exactly what the heck's going on, but the whole fact that they're tying in all these characters and trying to get as much old school Batman, I think it's going to be awesome. So, I mean, it sounds awesome on paper. We'll see how the execution goes. So,
much agreed. Now, sticking with the CW and the Arrowverse, we know that this season was the first season of Batwoman, which apparently... No,
I know. I couldn't interrupt that one.
Apparently, according to Rotten Tomatoes and the ratings board, Batwoman is the lowest rated show premiere of all of the Arrowverse. And I mean, that just about says it. It opened with a 0.5 rating to 1.8 million viewers. To give you an idea, their second worst show was Black Lightning, which opened with a 0.8 rating and 2.3 million viewers. And their best one, looking through here, aside from the Supergirl switch, was The Flash, opened with 6.83 million viewers back in 2014. So Batwoman is tanking. Don't know why. I haven't watched it yet. Maybe it's the tone. Maybe
I was reading something like Ruby Ruby Rose. I want to call her Ruby Harp. That was a Marvel vs. Capcom character. But Ruby Rose apparently had come out and said this show ain't for the old white dudes. I don't know. I don't know if that kind of like stuck it where they're like, yeah, well, we ain't watching your show. Yeah.
That may have alienated some of the viewership.
Or maybe it was lack of promotion. I mean, I can't tell you other than when we've talked about it from time to time on our show and previous episodes, but you can always go back and listen. We've mentioned the show and how it looks cool and how we think she'd be really awesome as Batwoman if it's right.
Yeah.
It's still something I'd like to check out. But they tried to do the whole like, well, Rotten Tomatoes is burying us and we want to, it's the trolls. It's kind of like the whole Captain Marvel thing, when they crapped on Captain Marvel with the trolls. And it's like, if it's bad, it's bad. I mean, the critics on Rotten Tomatoes, for the most part, you can get kind of behind, some of they're pretty accurate for the most part. Not all of them, but, I don't know if it's 9% bad. I mean, but,
Well, and excuse me, if, you go on Rotten Tomatoes, you're able to actually read the reviews from the critics. So if it makes sense, it makes sense. If a critic is just being blatantly ridiculous, then, you can dismiss it and make your own decision.
Yeah, well, and while we're on the subject, we might as well, like, I have the access to it. We're talking, and let's just kind of pick, let's see what they're saying about it. I mean, you and I haven't read other than this article saying that it's getting blasted on here. So let's see, Batwoman. So the Rotten Tomato doesn't seem that bad. It's currently today at a 69%.
Okay, nice.
It doesn't seem as bad as this article's making it out. And let's see. One gave it a C+. They said producer Greg Berlanti is to comic book superheroes what Donald Trump is to tweeting. They just can't stop themselves. Okay, but they said the best part of the new series is that unfussy, effortless way of getting Kate's sexual orientation out of the way, and also Kate herself. 2.5 out of 4. So it seems like it's kind of just in the middle, Okay. So if you guys want to read all these, there's a lot of people. Of course, you can check it. They have the real critics, the verified critics on one side. You can do the fan critics on the other. It is getting – the audience only gave it a 12%. Said first episode sucks. Second episode is a slight improvement. Disappointing. Really wanted to like this show. I really enjoy shows about the Bat family. Painfully cramped story, predictable characters. Batwoman seems to fit a whole season's worth of content in the first 2 episodes. I definitely think that you saw the best things in the trailer. Either way, the series is a fail so far. So that's the fans. So you can go there, critics to fans, kind of make your own judgment. I feel if you have any interest, just watch it, make a judgment for yourself.
Best way to do it, as opposed to being a anonymous troll on the internet.
Yeah, that's why, like, when I do my horrible reviews and people are like, oh, well, you didn't like that movie, so it must be bad. No. Like, the movie's probably, you might like it just because I didn't like it. It's a little different for you and I. You and I typically like the same stuff.
Right. And hate the same stuff.
It's true. So
people loved The Witch.
It's easy when you can have that same vibe, so...
All right, we're going to move away from
DC World
the CW and DC over to Hulu's streaming service. We had announced months back that Hulu was working on a live-action spin-off of Ghostrider based on the Robbie Reyes character from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which actually I liked that version of Ghostrider.
Yeah, you too. Great.
I liked it. Not the crazy Nicolas Cage. Instead of a motorcycle, he drove a Dodge Challenger, and it was a good version. Well, all of that goes to say that Hulu just announced that they will no longer be moving forward with its planned Ghostrider spinoff. Apparently, the creative team encountered creative differences that couldn't be resolved. They are, however, still working on the Hellstrom show. So,
this might not be complete bad news. I know we're not covering this story. I don't believe we're covering this story. Hopefully I don't spoil it. If we are, let me just check my notes so not spoiling. Nope. We're talking this guy, but we ain't spoiling. So Kevin Feige just got promoted to not just overseeing Marvel movies. Now he's overseeing the comics, the TV shows, the animation. So if they can roll this into like a Marvel show, man, they might be able to pull something out with this. It might not be in the same way or vein that they were hoping for, but hopefully there's still hope that they do something with this.
Yeah. Hulu's also working on some animated series for Marvel as well. Marvel's MODOK, Marvel's Hit Monkey, Tigra and Dazzler's show, Howard the Duck, and then they all come together in a crossover event called The Offenders. So Hulu's got a lot on their table for what they're doing with Marvel, along with the Hellstrom. But, we may see something down the road. Anything in the Marvel universe isn't necessarily permanent unless it is Tony Stark passing away, which even then we're probably going to see him surface again in the Black Widow movie. So.
Right. Yeah, it'll be something we'll keep you posted on. But if you're a fan of the Robbie Reyes version of Ghostrider, do not expect to see him anytime soon, as that's now apparently not being made. So,
yep. And we're going to get a lot of series coming out on Disney Plus that are in the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
WandaVision, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm sure I'm forgetting something.
And I was reading too. I don't know. Maybe I subscribe to too many like pop culture sites where I get my information, but it's constantly you hear about them wanting to revive, Jessica Jones. They want to do another Luke Cage and Defenders. They want to bring Daredevil back. So they're trying to find ways, but they want to keep the actors they had from the Netflix one, but try to find a new way to incorporate them. Because obviously I think Netflix and them had, I don't think they own all the rights because I think Netflix owns some of that. So I don't know for sure, but probably sound like a bumbling idiot that way. Well, I don't know for sure, but
I can only speculate. All right. Speaking of Disney Plus, we know that not only are we getting those shows, we're getting a lot of the classic Disney animated lineup and Marvel animated lineup as well. Well, some news came out, about a week ago, that Marvel is being sued for the intro theme music to X-Men, the animated series from the 90s. My first question is, why so soon?
No, I know. I mean, gosh, let's get right on the sue train right there.
Apparently, the person in charge of the estate from the composer of a Hungarian television show, police comedy thriller called Linda, that ran from 1984 to 1991. The composer recently passed away, and the person in charge of the conservatorship just found out about the music. Did you watch the video?
What is this? So I have not. I'm gonna play you a YouTube video. You guys, I did go and I did listen after this.
Did you watch the intro music video for Linda?
No, there's like a little record player, and I don't know. Is it bad?
Oh my God, it looks terrible.
Okay, well, I'm gonna play the Linda theme, but just if you guys weren't familiar, when I joked at the beginning of the intro saying we probably couldn't use it anymore, here's just a sample. I won't play the whole intro, but here's the X-Men theme. Ignore all the TV intro crap that's in it.
Bazinga!
So that so now
it's iconic, especially if you grew up in the eras that we did.
So here's Linda. I think he gets to the point here in a second. So, okay, so
It's
you have a
similar.
similar. This kind of reminds me of that stupid Vanilla Ice thing with the Queen.
I was
You know,
thinking the
like
same
my
thing.
song goes ding 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 ding. Theirs goes dong 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 dong. It's different. Okay, but have you ever heard of the TV show Linda? It sounds like crap.
No, it's from Hungary, and it was from 84 to 91.
Like maybe the creator or whoever did the X-Men theme song, quite possibly maybe, but I don't. I hear similarities, but I don't hear any direct lift off of it. You know.
And I'm curious if there's like a statute of limitations that, they would have had to come forward, within X amount of years of it being released. Because the X-Men series was early 90s, 92 through
And
97.
to the person that's suing, hello, McFly, the show has not been on the air since we were kids. I mean, since the 90s. It's been off the air. I don't think it even came out on DVD, to be honest with you.
I don't think
they
it
never
did.
ever released.
Right. Well, it'll
So,
be
who
coming
had
back
it
to
for streaming?
yeah, it'll be coming back to Disney Plus. Whether or not the original intro music will be a part of that, we will see.
Well, the thing is, come on, you can't take out. Wolverine will say it best.
Let's go, bub.
You ain't gonna win. It's Disney. There's no way. Good luck, composer. You ain't gonna get nothing for that. That's, I think, coincidental.
Yeah, Disney's got lawyers for days.
We'll just have to see, but I don't see it happen.
All right, moving on to the other end of Disney Plus. We know that as soon as Disney Plus is released on November 12th.
Oh my God.
That's right.
Yeah,
around the
did you
corner.
see the list of everything that's coming out for this?
I haven't seen it in one, sort of broken down list, but I mean, we've been talking about all the stuff for months
So this
now.
2 days ago, and we obviously we'll cover it more when we go, but they released 3 days ago the complete list of the Disney Plus launch titles. Maybe we'll do like a special or something in a couple weeks and just kind of like leading up to the launch and see what we're excited about.
Yeah.
You're going to get, not everything is on there. Like I was surprised, the Mighty Ducks, nowhere to be found. The animated version of Mighty Ducks, yes. The live action movie, no. Not all the Marvel movies are on there. It's missing, obviously, the ones that are still on Netflix. They have to finish their contracted run before they appear. Right. And all the Star Wars are on there except The Last Jedi and A New Hope. But what I'll do is you can go check out on our Facebook page the complete list. There is a lot. I mean, you think of it, you can name it. I gave you a couple of big ones that I was surprised, but you're talking every 90s afternoon cartoon. I mean, there's, Spider-Man's not on there.
Really?
So, but X-Men, all that stuff. I thought Spider-Man would be there, so maybe down the line, but right now, not. And the Hulk is not on there either.
Are you talking the 1970s Lou Ferrigno Hulk, or are you talking
there's
the cartoon
no
90s?
Yeah, so.
Well, and that whole thing is with Universal.
Yeah, so, I think Disney's going to have some things that maybe it'll be like Netflix. Maybe they'll have a big batch and then another big batch and some things go away. And maybe it'll go analytics for what's streaming. But we'll share that link and you guys can feel free to check, but quite the impressive list.
Yes. And when it is released, the one show that I'm really looking forward to is The Mandalorian, which, directed by Jon Favreau, executive produced, looks amazing. The trailer that they released during D23 looks awesome. And the nice thing is they announced another Star Wars-based live-action show, which is the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which stars Ewan McGregor and takes place 8 years after Revenge of the Sith. Well, the news we're getting now is that they have secured the director for that show, which means it looks like they're going to push it into production here pretty quickly. The director is Deborah Chow. And Deborah Chow...
Mr. Chow!
It's actually a Mrs. Chow.
Mrs. Chow, no big deal.
She actually has some directing chops behind her. She's directed episodes of Better Call Saul, Fear the Walking Dead, Mr. Robot, Jessica Jones, American Gods, and even did 2 of the 8 episodes of the first season of The Mandalorian. So she knows her way around the camera and the Star Wars universe as well.
Yeah, it's, with those kind of chops, that's not just saying like she's got some serious chops. She did a show that no one heard about and another thing. I mean, those are all well-known shows. I mean,
Right.
And just the fact that we get Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan Kenobi to kind of finish up that story, to kind of link it, that's awesome.
And it's cool that they're doing these sort of these mini series, if you would call them just mini series. It's only expected to be 10 episodes and probably won't even have a second season. It's similar to what they're probably doing with the MCU shows, starring the actors from the movies as well. Interesting stuff, and it's not the days of 24 one-hour episodes where they have to try and just fill time. And Walking Dead, unfortunately, is one of those shows that took liberties in trying to just
it is
cram nothing into it.
Season 11 just started, or was it season 10 that just started?
10.
I watched the kickoff episode or season premiere, and see, I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan's still fantastic. Make Negan the main guy. My favorite part of it was like everybody's got their shitting pants back on. So, they've pulled the Lost thing. They're in a time warp or time jump where they're so far along the show that it's weird. Yeah.
But luckily, I think Disney's got a handle on all of that, and they're doing their series right. We'll find out November 12th when Disney Plus comes out, but I'm excited.
I'm very excited, too. I'm super stoked, and, the whole fact you can bundle it with Hulu and ESPN Plus, excellent value. It's going to be $6.99 for just Disney Plus, but there'll be packages starting at $12.99. Still all cheaper than Netflix. Netflix is now, that runs me, I think, $13.99 a month now. I think something like that.
Yeah. All right, that does it for television. We're going to go and move on to movies, but
going to hit the box office report first.
That's what we're going to do. Weekend box office report.
What the is the internet?
All right, so number 1 at the box office for a second week in a row is the Clown Prince of Crime, Joker. Made another $55 million.
That was a pretty bad Joker, right?
And Tony's going to give his review of the movie. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I heard that the laughter becomes a little bit excessive.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. It's a lot.
But in any case, it's still doing well. Has a 10-day domestic total of $192. $192.7 million, and internationally is up to 543.9.
Oh, yeah.
In second place is a movie that I'm going to be giving a review of, is the PG animated version of The Addams Family, opened with $30.2 million. Has a big name cast: Oscar Isaac, Charlize Theron, Chloe Moretz, Finn Wolfhard, but wasn't enough to surpass Joker at the box office.
Finn Wolfhard, that name is the best.
In third place, which I actually kind of expected to be the number one movie this week, was the Will Smith versus Will Smith movie Gemini Man with 20.5 million.
Yeah, I expected that to do better too. Kind of a low start. Yeah, that's a little surprising. Maybe it was the tagline in the movie. You made a human out of another human. Yeah, that's how humans are made, Will. Humans get with another human, and it makes it a little human.
So it was directed by Ang Lee, and based on his action movies, you know the action's going to be ramped up. I do still want to see it. I probably will this weekend, especially considering the girlfriend is out of town for a couple weeks. The other thing that's interesting, just looking through, is that they shot the movie at 120 frames per second compared to a normal movie that's shot at 24 frames per second. So I anticipate it's got a super high def, high intense look in the way it was shot.
Yeah, they said not all but like maybe 10 major markets could show an actual theater that could handle that resolution. It's very minimal.
And maybe that's why it opened in third as opposed to first.
Yeah, it's possible.
All right, in fourth place was the animated movie Abominable with 6.1 million. In fifth place was Downton Abbey with 4.9 million. Get that fart button ready.
Oh, yes, let's go sip some tea down at the Downton Abbey. We used to be a British TV show. Now we're a big-time movie. We've only made $82.6. It's fun to kick ass. It's bubblegum.
I don't know. That show and that movie just looks so boring to me.
Yeah, I passed. My girlfriend was like, maybe we should go see Downton Abbey. And I was like, how about no?
I don't know. Maybe you could have used a 2-hour nap. And, you get one of the seats that they recline back.
I dozed off during, I don't know if you're going to call the movie Ad Astra or is it Ad Astra?
Ad Astra.
I kind of dozed off during Ad Astra. Not that it was bad, it just was slow burn.
I heard it was, doze-worthy.
Yeah, it was doze-worthy, but one of those cool movies that made you think at the end. I'll save that for number 10.
In sixth place, we had the R-rated movie Hustlers with 3.8 million.
Oh, yeah, Hustlers, shake your booty, don't have a soundbite. Woo-woo.
I have no idea what one of my dogs is doing over there, making weird sounds. In seventh place was the Judy Garland biopic Judy at 3.2 million.
Okay.
All right. Eighth place was It Chapter 2 with another 3.2. In ninth place was the R-rated comedy Jexy.
Oh, looks terrible.
I never saw a trailer for it. In fact, when I went to look for tickets for the Addams Family, I saw that pop up and had no idea what it was about.
It's about how the phone is in love with him. Like it's Siri instead of Jexy, and it controls everything, his car and his life, and it's...
Wasn't that another movie with Joaquin?
Yes,
Phoenix?
where he was in love with it.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but...
Oh, well. All right, and 10th place rounding out the top 10 was the snooze fest that you were talking about a little bit earlier, Ad Astra with 1.9 million.
It was, it was good post-movie. It's one of those movies you watch it, or you kind of doze through some of it, but it makes you think at the end. That makes sense. You'll watch it and go, I like that. But then later, you're still thinking about the stupid movie that you're like, you know what? I kind of liked it.
Maybe a good Redbox.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Or when it comes out on Netflix.
My girlfriend loved it. She's into that. She's like, it's similar to Interstellar. I really liked Interstellar.
Okay.
It was similar. It was just some random... It's just weird. It's definitely worth a watch. It's just weird.
And then this upcoming weekend is going to be a pretty big weekend at the box office. Not only do you have the Disney sequel Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, but you've got the Zombieland sequel Double Tap.
I think if I'm predicting my horrible prediction this week, I think Zombieland will be the number one flick. I think Maleficent will be number 2. I think Joker will be number 3.
I would switch that 1 and 2, at least in my opinion, just because Zombieland's an R-rated movie. Maleficent's a little bit more family-friendly. That's just my guess, though.
We'll see. But and I got a feeling, man, if Gemini Man kind of turd bucketed at 3, you can probably expect that to be 5 or 6 next week.
Yeah. So if you want to see it in the theater, see it now, because in 2 weeks it will no longer be in
And then
theaters,
4 weeks from now it'll be on Blu-ray or digital, and then in 6 weeks it'll be on Blu-ray. So.
All right. So Tony had a chance to go see Joker. As I mentioned, I haven't had a chance to see it yet. There was a lot of hype going in. Got an 8-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival. Came out, and then the reviews that were coming out after it kind of confirmed my suspicion. But I'm curious to get your 2-minute review.
Yeah, that's perfect. So Joker, here, let me just go right here. Oh, I should have had it ready.
Your 1 minute and 30-second review.
You're like, you're doing this bad. Okay. Joker. So my synopsis is a movie about a loser who likes to dress up as a clown, and because life can be cruel, he is driven to madness. My thought on it is, if you're a Batman diehard, you're probably going to hate this movie. I think it's a good movie. It's a movie about a guy who has mental issues and not the best life, and it all builds up during the movie. I don't see a sequel happening from it. The cinematography is fantastic. Joaquin Phoenix is great in it. He's very creepy. The story is good. My cons are just leave the Wayne stuff out from Batman. I think that really didn't add to it. In fact, it kind of just pissed me off. It's where the Batman fans get in. It's just leave that part out. And if you see it, you'll know what I mean. I'm not going to spoil it for you. It's definitely worth seeing in the theater. It starts out really slow, but you don't lose your interest in it. It keeps your attention the whole time. It's a slow build, kind of not as the vein of Ad Astra, but it is a slow build. I give it a 4 out of 5. Now, it's not as the last 20 minutes is wild. The last 20 minutes is very violent, but
that's what I heard.
But the rest of the movie's not. So if you're going in thinking it's going to be this big, violent, bad guy movie, it makes you think. You got a mental guy that has mental issues, and he gets picked on, and he's abused by people around him. He's a joke, and people are mean to him. What happens when you push somebody like that? That shit could happen. So overall, good flick. Could have done without the Bruce Wayne stuff.
Okay. Yeah, actually, you rated it higher than I expected. Basically what I had heard is that Joaquin Phoenix is an excellent actor in an okay movie.
Yeah, he's it's weird. The laughs do get annoying. Like his laugh sucks. Yeah. You can't touch Heath Ledger's Joker, but
would you put him above Jared Leto or below?
I think it goes like it. If you're gonna rank the Jokers, you got Heath Ledger, and then you've got Jack Nicholson, then you got animated Mark Hamill, then you got Cesar Romero, then you got Jared Leto.
I'd put Hamill in the number 2 spot personally, but for the most part,
that's great. It's all good. But Jared Leto, no offense to him, if he listens to the show, I highly doubt he does. But his Joker sucked, man, and it just wasn't good. This Joker, I thought this movie was going to be a pile of crap, but it wasn't bad. It was pretty dang enjoyable if you can get past certain things.
Good to know. All right. So the movie that I had a chance to see over the weekend, and we had a toss-up. We were trying to choose between Gemini Man, Joker, or we ultimately ended up on the Addams Family. And, boy, we made the wrong decision. It had funny parts. It was, when it comes to animated movies, you've got the big studios. You've got, Disney Pixar. You've got DreamWorks, Illumination. Those are the top 3. And typically, they consistently put out quality movies that are funny for both adults and kids, and will make you laugh out loud. The Addams Family was done by MGM, and of course, in the previews, they showed a bunch of off-brand movies that look even worse. Great voice acting, but ultimately, the writing of the movie, the story of the movie was just, not great. And we're kind of spoiled because we grew up with the Barry Sonnenfeld Addams Family and Addams Family values, which were so much fun. They still hold up. We've watched both the movies here in the last, couple weeks. So if you go into the animated movie expecting that, you're going to be very disappointed. If I had taken my kids to see it, I'm sure they would have loved it. But ultimately, if you're putting it on that bar, next to like a Toy Story 4, it's fallen way down. So I'd probably give it a 2 out of 5.
All right. So you're saying basically just wait for it on Redbox or on demand?
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt the same way, man. I thought the animation looked crappy. I didn't see the movie, but based on the trailer I had to watch for pop culture, the animation looked crappy. I did give the cast I gave that a good thumbs up on that.
Voice acting was great.
But didn't it seem kind of funky, like based off what I see in the trailer, like in the movies we grew up with, and I'm sure even what our parents watched, even in the, the 70s or wherever, the black and white TV show, the Addams Family were just spooky, kooky, no pun intended. I know that's in their song. But you go, like, it's their world, and everyone else has to kind of adapt to it. But in this animated one, it seemed like they were trying to adapt to the modern world. Or I could be wrong. That's what I got out of the trailer. Like, they were trying to – they're still weird and outcast, and they're trying to fit in with what's cool today. I don't know.
they'd always been – they'd always been part of the modern world. I mean, even in the Barry Sonnenfeld ones, when they went outside of the house, and the kids went to camp, all of that took place in, what was then now. They do the same thing with this, but, it's one of those movies where they're trying to force a social stance down your throat of, accept people no matter how they look or how they are, and everybody's a little bit different, and it comes from both sides, and when that sort of creeps into animated features, and it's overt like that, it's not that much fun to watch. I mean, Disney Pixar are great about having points that they're trying to make subtly, but this one was just beat you over the head with it.
Okay, definitely skipping that. What I thought about when we were just talking Addams Family, I had when you mentioned camp, the first thing I saw in my head was
Vigo
Janosch.
or Janosch
from Ghostbusters 2. It's Vigo. He was one of the camp counselors. So that's the first thing I freaking thought. So
those movies are good. They still hold up. All right, moving on, and I think you've got an intro for movies.
We do.
Are you the keymaster?
Back it up, fuzzball.
This baby hit 38 miles per hour. We're gonna see some serious shit.
We're going to see some serious shit. All right, the first story in movie news is that we know it's right on the brink of coming out, a movie that we've been excited for, Kevin Smith's Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which obviously brings them back to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Noochie boochie noochies.
Yep, it's it ties the view askew. It actually,
and it's a return to the view askew.
It is, and we'll get there. We'll get there.
So I'm looking forward to it. I know it's limited run in theaters. I think it's showing one date, and then it's going straight to streaming platforms where you can rent it, buy it, whatever it may be. But it's nice to see Kevin Smith back in his view askew form, not going with some of the horror-related stuff that he attempted.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's where I was gonna go. I'm bummed with the limited release because they had one showing, was it Monday? And it was sold out because it was only
the 15th.
It was only one, and then there was the other one tonight.
Okay.
And that one was only showing at one theater in my area, and that sucker I closed, so I couldn't do it. This is why we're doing the show kind of late too. But I was bummed. I really wanted to see it, and I know they're doing their theater tour, so you can go see it. And I can't wait to see this movie. It's just unfortunately, it's going to be a while before I hopefully get to see it soon, but it'll probably be a while.
Yeah. But staying in the skew
of you.
As it hits midnight here, my cognitive ability is going
to tomorrow.
Down. Yeah. Anyway, Kevin Smith just announced in a Instagram post that they are officially working on Clerks 3 again. He had previously written a version of it, mentioned in this one that he's writing a whole new script. It brings Jeff Anderson back. It brings Brian O'Halloran back as Dante and Randall.
Dude, Randall's sporting a Denver Bronco hat in that Instagram pic.
Yeah,
I think he owns the rights to Clerks. It was Mallrats he couldn't do because Universal. But I think he was able to buy the rights from Clerks after the whole Weinstein crap and all that. So I think he has the rights to it. I could be wrong, but I'm with you, man. I'm excited that Clerks 3 is going to be happening. It's kind of funny if they shot it in black and white just to be...
Oh, they totally should.
Yeah, just as a big... Because Clerks 2 was fantastic, and please bring back Trevor, man. That guy was great.
I got to go back and watch that movie.
Yeah, Clerks 2 is fantastic. Do yourself a favor if you're listening or watching. Go watch Clerks and then go watch Clerks 2, man. Both classics. Great flicks.
But I'll have to do it after Halloween because...
where's the time?
Well, and Halloween for us is, scary movie season. So just trying to watch as many Halloween-themed scary movies as possible. One of my favorite times of year. Oh, by the way, Tone, if you get a chance and you want to watch a good scary movie that came out almost 10 years ago, it's called Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat.
Okay.
It's got a lot of big name actors in it. It's only an hour and a half long, and it's really good. I had no idea about it before, and I tend to stay up on my horror movies. So,
all right, I'll check it out. In fact, if we're just going to trade barbs with some horror stuff, there's a movie I just did for Pop Culture this week. The Girl on the Third Floor. YouTube it when we're done with the show, or if you guys are listening. CM Punk, the wrestler, he did it. This is his first acting role. It kind of looks in the vein of The Shining. Looks freaking awesome, man.
Yeah, I heard an interview with him last week and a half ago. He was talking about, and they filmed in an actual haunted house where 2 kids were murdered, and so that helped.
Did not know that, but that's crazy. That makes me want to see that. I'm not demented and creepy like that, but see the trailer. I watched the trailer 3 times as I was taking notes, and it hooked me. Like I do want to see this movie. It looks creepy. I want to see.
Looks good. All right, let's see. View Skewverse now, working our way over to Jurassic Park. We should have found sound clip wise was
what?
Peter Griffin doing the.
Actually, what's funny? I thought about playing that. It is on there.
Is it really?
Yeah. I should have done that one instead of the actual Jurassic Park theme. But I mean, if we're already up late, it's a goofy ass episode. Here you go. Dun, 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 There you go.
Perfect. All right. The reason that we mention it, and obviously pay a little tribute to it at the top of the show, is that the news is coming out that Jurassic World 3, that obviously will star Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, brings Colin Trevorrow back as a executive producer, will now feature prominently the three main leads from Jurassic Park, the original: Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum as Alan Grant, Dr. Ellie Sattler, and Dr. Ian Malcolm. And I think it'll be a nice way to wrap them all together. And I'm curious to see how they go about doing it.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy how they do it. I mean, you watched how Jurassic World 2 ended and where we're going with that, because Jeff Goldblum appeared at the end of that one, didn't he?
He did, yeah, but it was just a small little cameo. Apparently, they'll be more prominent in this. And then, if you watch the first three Jurassic Park movies, they were the three leads in the first one. The second one brought Jeff Goldblum back, and then the third one brought Sam Neill back. But this will be the first time that they're all together again in a Jurassic Park movie.
That's weird. So Laura Dern hasn't been back since the first.
Maybe she made a cameo in one of them, but off the top of my head, I don't recall seeing her.
No, that's crazy. I'm curious. I know that it doesn't matter to anyone listening, but I want to make sure. I mean, let's see. She was in The Last Jedi?
Yes. Yeah, she was the person who took over for Princess Leia.
Gotcha. No, she's in Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah. I don't remember that. Oh, well. That's probably the Jurassic Park movie I've seen the least.
You know what?
So.
If you remember, I remember where she is in Part 3. When he gets tricked and gets stuck on the island and he has that was it the global phone or that big phone?
Satellite phone.
Yeah, and he reaches and he calls and one of the kids pick up because she's on the mainland, and then she gets the phone, and she's the one that gets the help to the island.
So
it's been a long time since I've seen it, so I don't know if that was the chronological order that should happen, but that's what just triggered in this old nugget of mine.
In any case, Jurassic World 3, Amblin Entertainment came out with an announcement that Jurassic World 3 will... I can't speak, it's too late.
Good, it's like now and you didn't even drink, and I've already switched to water. I couldn't finish my foofy drink because it's too damn late. 1:16 a.m. I got a flight in like 6 hours.
Let's try this again. Jurassic World 3 will cause a global impact tremor in theaters on June 11th, 2021. So we got a couple of years, and I don't know if global impact tremor is something alluding to the plot, but we're going to have to wait a little bit to see.
Oh, I got a tremor.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Such a cheesy tagline.
Moving our way from dinosaurs to the House of Mouse, talking Disney and Marvel Cinematic Universe. Unless you've been living under a rock, most everybody knows that Sony and Spider-Man split away from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They couldn't agree on terms. And then, sort of out of the blue, a little over a week ago, they made the announcement that Spider-Man is back into the MCU. They are developing the third movie in the Homecoming series, and that he's going to appear in one future MCU film as well. Kevin Feige will produce. Tom Holland obviously stars in it. And it's nice that they're going to be able to wrap up what they set up as the cliffhanger in Spider-Man Far From Home. So I'm glad to see that. Kevin Feige even mentioned that Spider-Man may show up in the Sony side sooner than we know, possibly with Venom.
Yeah, I think it's great. Tom Holland, I guess, went to both and asked them both, Bob Iger and, or I don't know if he went to Bob Iger. Sorry, that's Disney. But he went to, Feige and whoever's in charge of Sony and said, hey, could you guys try to meet again, see if you can get something going? They struck a deal. It's a short-term deal, so we definitely get 2 more MCU Spideys, which is great. One reel and then in another one.
Right.
It's gonna be crazy how they all tie it together. I'm really excited to see what they can do for it, and I'm happy he's back. That's great. What I would really like is if Disney just shelled out the money and just buy the Batman. Wow, it is late. Why did go out and purchase the Spider-Man? Just the rights, man.
Yep.
Don't let Sony make a Venom. Just buy all that, bring it into the MCU, do separate, just more toys for you at Marvel, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, so apparently the terms of this deal, so originally Disney got 5% of the upfront money, so the very first opening day or weekend for any of the Homecoming or Far From Home movies with Spider-Man, to be able to utilize him in the Avengers movies. Disney wasn't happy with that. When their contracts expired, they went back to Sony and wanted a 50-50 split. They would shell out half of the production cost, but they wanted 50% back. And that's where they split from there. The new term looks like Disney's going to receive about 25%, and they'll put up about 25% of the financing for the movie. And I think that's a nice compromise.
I do too. And it's all for the greater good. It's like, let's get this, at least this third film out. Let's finish telling the story, and then let's get him in our movies so we can start pumping those out. So,
well, and not only that, but I mean, we've talked in the past that Sony's trying to develop their own cinematic universe around the Spider-Man characters. And the problem is they don't have a deep list of characters that people easily recognize. And so that sort of brings us to our next story, where we know that Venom 2 is being worked on with obviously Tom Hardy and Andy Serkis directing. I'm looking forward to it. They're also working on a Morbius movie that stars Jared Leto as Michael Morbius, the living vampire. Well, it looks like they are now developing a Madam Web spinoff, which, I mean, now you're getting into the depths of the Spider-Man characters. Not a lot of people are familiar with who she is. Just to give you sort of a background, the character's name is Cassandra Webb. She had some neuromuscular disease that hindered her movement, her respiratory functions, and was put on a life support that was similar to, a spider-looking web, and that she has powers that she's clairvoyant and has precognitive abilities. How they're going to form that into a movie all on its own, I have no idea.
oh my gosh.
My gird.
Well, this is why Marvel's smart, and they're taking their lesser known characters and just doing them in TV shows, right?
Well, and they did that with Guardians of the Galaxy, but at the same time, it's Marvel. They know what they're doing. Sony, maybe not so much.
No, because I mean, like, Venom did well in theaters, and truth be told, I own Venom. I went to the theaters to see Venom. I've seen Venom one time my whole life. It wasn't that memorable. I bought it just because, I'm a geek and I collect the, anything Marvel related. And it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either.
Yeah, I watched it again, within the last month, and again, nothing to write home about. It was a perfectly fine movie, but nothing on the level of what Marvel is doing.
No. So it would be nice if Marvel gets it. But in the meantime, they're going to continue to do everything they can to make money. And you're going to be, I think Morbius is a bad idea. I don't think it's going to do great.
I don't know.
I think Sony kind of might dip, like, it might be kind of how, like, DC movies kind of just come out and you're like, okay. It was kind of like that. But, time will tell. We'll see. We'll keep you posted right here on our show when we get more news on that. So if you're excited for Madam Web, then here you go. It's coming. Stay tuned. Yada, yada.
And if you like what Kevin Feige is doing over there at Marvel, he's probably the one person I know of that has more on his plate than I do. He is developing a Star Wars movie with Lucasfilm head Kathleen Kennedy. And, if he puts his touch on it the same way he has with Marvel, I don't expect it to be any less than fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's going to be neat. I know there's been, that's getting ahead of things there, but he's got some good ideas from what it sounds like. I'd be more interested in a Kevin Feige Star Wars movie than a Rian Johnson one.
Yeah. Well, and
about Ryan Johnson because he does, he did Looper. His what's that next one that's coming out? Knives Out.
Knives Out. Yep.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, for Star Wars though, watching kids kick around with broomsticks, hell no, I don't want to see that.
Now the only difference.
Either.
The only difference here is that Kevin Feige is a producer, so he gets all of the right people in line, whereas, Ryan Johnson, yeah, he'll produce, but he's also directing, so he has a direct line into the creative process of the movie. Now, Ryan Johnson is still working on developing a separate Star Wars trilogy, aside from the trilogy that's being developed by Game of Thrones showrunners David Benioff and Dan Weiss, which they're expecting to be based on the Old Republic. So there's a lot of Star Wars stuff in the works. We're going to get a pretty decent-sized break after The Rise of Skywalker. So, I think it'll all be coming back into the marketplace right at the right time.
Yeah, well, that's crazy to think about. We have about a month and a half away from, I should say a month and a half. It's about 2 months. Yeah. 2.5 months.
It's 2 months and 3 days.
He's got the countdown clock, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, it falls on my birthday, so.
Oh, okay. There you go. Chris's birthday, you'll know.
Star Wars Day. Yeah.
I'm a little worried, though, with as much as Disney's going to stretch and quote-unquote whore out the franchise. Like, I love everything they've announced so far. I love it. Because it ties to the story we know. Some of these other guys, they're like, we're making a Star Wars movie. Okay, like, what's it going to tie to? Like, it's got to have some tie to the... I know they're all going to go different ways, but you would think it's got to have some way where it intertwines somehow with
and
the saga at some point.
I've heard that argument from the Star Wars diehards, but if Marvel can put out 3 MCU movies a year and keep them good, I can't see why the Star Wars franchise can't put out 1 movie a year. Right,
that's true. But with the Marvel movies, you do that, you have characters like that are known, right? They're not quote unquote intertwined yet with the major story being the Avengers. But I guess okay, maybe they're introducing characters we don't know.
Well, they have to be. Unless they do something based on the Old Republic, where there's some characters that people would be familiar with if they played the video games. But Marvel's been good about that with Guardians of the Galaxy, to some degree Black Panther, and then they've got a whole slate of unknown characters who are going to be coming out here soon too. Shang-Chi and the Wings of Wings. So with Kevin Feige doing a Star Wars movie, I would expect to see maybe some actor crossover, and of course the rumor mill is already flying with the first name attached via rumor being Captain Marvel herself, Brie Larson. And she posted something on Twitter that said, did someone say Star Wars? Who knows if it's just her having fun or if she's actually in talks to be a part of it. But, of course, everybody's speculating.
I think she'd be a pretty badass Jedi, to be honest with you. In some of these pictures that and we have this on our Facebook page. You got to kind of scroll a little bit because it was on there. I can always refresh. But, the art image with her with that purple lightsaber looks pretty badass.
Yeah.
I won't knock anything Star Wars until I've seen it. So you always welcome that stuff if Brie Larson wants to be a part of it and they can do it right. I mean, hell, Nick Fury was already in it as Mace Windu. So
yeah,
why not? Why not?
Why not? Why not? Indeed.
Why not? The more the merrier. Let's do this.
All right. That does it for our movie news. We are heading on to our last segment. And then
I know. Thanks for hanging on, guys. It's
late. We can go to bed. Yeah. Fortunately, most of you can listen to this after we've recorded it.
Yeah, and you'll watch it tomorrow when you wake up or some point of the day and just see how tired and how we're dying off.
Yeah.
It's not a drunk show, it's a tired show. And here we go with video games.
Hey man, you want to play some video games?
through.
I think we're going to have to rework that sound clip a little bit.
Yeah, I'll go back and if I can get it logged on the phone and just do the sound bites from the phone, that might be better. But
a little more clear.
Yeah, we could do that. It might be time to revamp. Maybe by episode 40, we'll have some revamped intros or something.
Nice. All right, video game news and staying in the world of Star Wars. The next big Star Wars game coming out from EA is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which, prior to seeing the gameplay, we anticipated would be something along the lines of The Force Unleashed. And of course, once we did see the gameplay, that was confirmed and looks good. Well, God, looking at the date now, almost 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago,
yeah,
they released a new trailer featuring the main character Cal Kestis and some cutscenes, some gameplay. I'm curious to get your impression, Tony, but I think the gameplay looks fantastic. I think the animation looks crisp and clear. I'm still bothered with the age of technology we're in that these face models don't look better.
I agree. It's funny. This is kind of this doesn't have anything to do with Star Wars, but since you brought that up, I actually, because I watch a lot of video game stuff. I try to get news. I try to stay on top of video game stuff for our show, and I'm just into video games in general. But I watched video footage of WWE 2K20, which that game, if you get a chance, man, just god awful face images. The graphics look about PS2 quality.
Ouch.
PS1, it's bad. They just announced the PS5 is coming, and you're dishing out PS2 graphics. I agree with you. The face models suck, and 100% think the game looks crisp. It looks like a lot of fun. EA kind of has me worried because they did release both Battlefronts, and they're both beautiful looking games. They
definitely
sound great. They look great. They don't necessarily play all that great. So, I'm excited for it. Definitely, it's something I would like to pick up, and I'll have a review for it, I'm sure. I know it's hard nowadays to really fit in all the video game time in the world.
On top of everything else.
It looks cool. Do yourselves a favor. You don't even have to be a Star Wars fan. Watch the trailer. The game looks just like a lot of fun. So
yeah.
And it drops, what do we say, November 15th. And it'll be on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So Switch owners, you're out of luck on that one.
Yep.
Sorry.
Right around the corner. Real quick, going back to the face model thing, I keep seeing commercials for Gears of War 5. They've nailed the face modeling and rendering. I mean, they look like actual actors. But watch this trailer, and you'll see there's one character, it's a female character, has these weird buggy eyes. I don't think that's on purpose. I think it's just they can't get it quite right.
Right, yeah. If you're going to try to do real humans that's not animated, I mean, you got to do a lot better. Because they screwed up, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite 2 years ago with the modeling. It just be animated. You don't need to make them look realistic. That's just not how they ever were.
Right.
So, but yeah, this game looks sweet. I think it's going to do really well. I think it's going to be a very popular game. This is the fun part of being a video game fan, is all the really cool games that come out, and then here's dumbass me where I go and buy these things, and then they sit and collect dust because I'm never home. So we do these late night shows. So you're on After Hours on the Proton Pack this week, but yeah,
Proton Pack After Dark.
After Dark, where the show just goes to hell in a handbasket.
Right.
Our guest tonight is the Terminator.
You son of a bitch.
So you can't get Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order on Nintendo. What you can get, sort of on Nintendo, more on your mobile platform, is Mario Kart Tour.
Mario Cat.
I'm from Boston now.
Your New York accent's coming out. Mario Kart. Go F yourself, huh?
So
Mother lover.
Mario Kart came out a couple weeks ago. I downloaded it as soon as it came out. It is a fun game. It is a blast to play. Now, I'm not the type of person who goes in and buys upgrades or subscriptions or anything along those lines. But if you are that type of person, well, if you are subscribing to Mario Kart Tour's paid subscription, you're going to be shelling out more money than it costs for Nintendo Switch Online, which is kind of funny that they ended up doing that. I personally can't put money into buying upgrades for games.
No. Now there's a few. I'm guilty with some. It's fighting games typically like Mortal Kombat or
DLCs, sure.
Okay, those are. But I'm with you on the mobile stuff. Like I'm not doing it. I love Mario Kart. I'm a huge Nintendo guy.
You're not buying more hearts to crush more candies?
No.
Right.
It's kind of like I play Words with Friends, which might make me sound like an old fart, but I do that with my friends.
Back in my day,
you little jabroni, where did Scrabble?
On the iPhone.
On the little tab, the flippy phone, and it had Snake. But I don't pay for the full version, and I have to sit through these dumb ads. It's terrible.
Yeah, but still a fun game. Still well worth downloading. You can play the free version, and just you're a little slower to rack up the goodies. Yeah,
it is a lot of fun game. I still have a problem with one thing I have with Nintendo Mobile is everything you have to be is Wi-Fi or you got to be in mobile service. It's the only way these games flipping work.
Yep, can't play it on a plane without Wi-Fi.
On a plane, good luck. You ain't playing any Mario. You just ain't. So, unless you have a Switch, and actually, not even then, Nintendo. Made that mistake going to Mexico. I brought my Switch, wanted to play Super Nintendo. On the airplane, guess what?
No Super Nintendo for Tony.
Gotta have a Wi-Fi. So, luckily, I brought this other game we're about to talk about.
I was just going to say, I have zero doubt that you already own this game.
I bought it day one.
Oh, so excited for it. Maybe the whole reason to own a Switch, aside from all of the other amazing Switch games.
The Switch is that system is worth the pickup. It is a fantastic system. I wouldn't recommend the Lite and that's the cheaper model they have now.
Mm-hmm.
The only way I'd recommend that one to anybody is if you're a constant on-the-go gamer and you don't care about playing on a TV because you can't hook that up to a TV.
No.
So your best bet is to just get the Switch. Fantastic game. The game we're talking about is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, which is it's a remake of the Game Boy version from the early, it's 1993 is when the Game Boy version came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say I played it on the Game Boy as a kid. I didn't have it.
They did a 1998 Game Boy Color re-release of it as well.
I see it. It looks very pretty.
For Game Boy Color, yeah. Yeah.
So this game, I ended up playing this on my plane ride to Mexico. What a fun game, man! It reminds me so much of. It's got the cutesy little graphics, but it plays like the original Legend of Zelda, and it plays a lot like A Link to the Past, which was one of my favorite games, which was Zelda 3 on the Super Nintendo. Great game. Highly recommended if you're not even a Zelda fan, just the puzzles are on here. It's definitely a game where you got to give it some time. You got to give it some dedication. So you got to make time for it. Don't be like me that buy these things and play it for a week and then it just sits there for a little while. That unfortunately happens a lot. But Link. I read something, A Link Between Worlds. That's not what it's called, but I read something. Link's Awakening got a 9.4 amazing review on IGN. I give it a 10. It's fantastic. It is. It's worth owning a Switch. Probably just for that, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Super Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 World Tour,
Super Smash Bros.
Smash Brothers Ultimate, the other Legend of Zelda that's out there. I can't think of the name off the top of my head.
Wind Waker, Wind Talker,
Yeah, it wasn't the Wind Waker. That was the cell shaded one. This was something Hyrule. I don't remember. If you guys, you can make fun of me. I'm tired. I don't know what it's called, but absolutely worth picking up a Switch for that. And their online service is bitching too. $20 for a full year. You can get up to 3 people on that same account, and they have full access to it. But they have over 80 original NES games. Some of them are the same special editions, so the number might be inaccurate, but they just released the Super Nintendo games a couple weeks ago. Can't play those on the plane, unfortunately, but nonetheless, fantastic. I can just rave all night about this Nintendo Switch.
Well, luckily you don't have to, and it is now time for us to go to bed. Anybody who has been watching this live, we really appreciate you staying up with us. Hopefully most of you will be able to take it in at your leisure. As always, follow us on social media. Proton Pack Podcast on Facebook, on Instagram, and give us feedback. Subscribe, leave reviews, let us know what you think. Again, we will be at the Reno Pop Culture Con November 8th through the 10th, and I am about ready to crash out. I don't know about you, Tone.
Oh, yeah. We look like we're stoned, and we didn't do any of that.
Amen.
Oh, man. All right, with that, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Honey, where's Fluffy?
Goodbye.